XDefiant is here, and I want to share with you my thoughts on this game. 6v6 team-based arena shooter, just like Call of Duty, with some hero-style shooter mechanics, but the only catch is all of the factions in the game come from Ubisoft franchises. One of the main thrusts or the outward, noticeable things about the XDefiant press release is the fact that they're coming after skill-based matchmaking so vocally. I am a fan of Mark Rubin's stance against engagement-optimized matchmaking, basically highlighting the downsides of most of the major shooters, the AI algorithm that is determining the outcome or the most likely outcomes of your matches in order to try and keep you playing as long as possible. It can lead to a lot of the matches feeling very samey, and it's a bigger conversation for another video, but long and short, SBMM, some level of it can be good, but EOMM, not so much, and XDefiant is committed to making no SBMM in the casual playlist something that is there moving forward for a wide range of variety in terms of the matches you're going to play. Some will be hard, some will be easy, and that variety will keep you coming back for more. Max Hoberman from Halo 2 Days has talked about some very similar elements, and I tend to resonate with it. But let's move away from that, because I don't think most people are going to play the game just because of that stance. Let's talk about the gameplay itself. It's your typical fare. It's got slide, mantle, crouch, aim down sights. There's 24 weapons that you can go after and earn. One thing I will note is, even though you've got these 5 factions from Ubisoft here, the weapons are pretty much all standard FPS game, modern military sort. Kind of a missed opportunity in my opinion. You've got the Cleaners from The Division, the Phantoms from Ghost Recon, Echelon from Splinter Cell, the Libertad from Far Cry 6, and DedSec from Watch Dogs. And even though with, let's say, the Echelon from Splinter Cell, when you get your ultimate ability, you pull out Sam Fisher's pistol and it's a one-shot kill, you don't really see in those 24 main weapons any of these unique franchise-specific designs coming into play. Even if they were just, skins or things to be earned, this is a good opportunity to get people introduced to different Ubisoft titles. For me, I really only recognize Splinter Cell and the Division characters. I haven't played a ton of Ghost Recon, no Watch Dogs, and I didn't touch Far Cry 6. So it does seem like they're missing some opportunities there, and that feels like my experience so far with XDefiant. It is fun. This is a fun style, 6v6 arena shooter, but it's also the kind of game that you've probably played a lot before, and it doesn't seem to take any sort of risks. All of the characters have these little hero-style elements to them, so you've got abilities like a wall and like a grenade that you throw on the ground for fire. You've got these pings, you've got a little spider that will go and walk and, EMP somebody and stun them. All of these abilities you've seen in some shape or form in other FPS games in the past. It doesn't seem to have any that really move the needle, and also the balance feels a little off. You got a lot of people playing Echelon so they can get that beautiful wall hack and see through walls and chain things together. It definitely feels right now that abilities are something they're going to need to balance moving forward. And even though I had a really good time playing today, the shoddy hit detection is something that I want to see improvement on quickly. I was given it the benefit of the doubt, thinking that this is just issues because it's hype, there's a lot of people playing, maybe their servers can't handle all of it, but looking a little bit deeper, apparently, hit detection and desync has been an issue that people have been asking about, improvements for since the beta tests. It can feel, if you've ever played Iron Sight before, a lot like that, where sometimes the shots just do not register, or you'll get shot behind corners. It doesn't have that snappy, smooth feeling that you sort of need for a game like this, at least for long term. Doesn't mean you can't have fun. I had a great time, but it is the type of design shortcoming where too many matches where you feel like those shots didn't register and you just probably won't boot it up the very next day. The maps are very cool, colorful, interesting. They all bring a lot of the unique flair from their particular franchises into it, which I really liked. They lean into the 3-lane design. Honestly, if you're a fan of old school Call of Duty, there is no reason not to try this game. I like a lot of what XDefiant is doing. So much info in the menus about, input-based matchmaking. Do you want the crossplay enabled? This playlist, they've got this introductory playlist where up until level 25, you're going to be having some skill-based matchmaking in there to introduce you to the experience, and then when they push you out, or you can actually just choose from the start the casual playlist, you could go and experience what it's like to have none of that, SBMM in the mix. It doesn't necessarily mean your matches are going to be easy, and I think that's what people forget whenever they, talk about the SBMM topic, is it's not always about players just wanting to farm kills or get high, great, amazing gameplays. Sometimes it is about that, but Honestly, when you don't have SBMM, it can be a real, roulette wheel. I remember some of the old days of these old school games where sometimes you do get frustrated and you get back-to-back against like squads of super strong players, but it does feel like the hidden strings behind the scenes of, Overlord Activision aren't really pushing the buttons and determining your fate, which is nice for some. It does feel like the game is going to have some tweaks because, my gosh, the Battle Pass progress is incredibly slow. Looking like 100 plus hours if you're going to go through that thing. 150 hours is what I've seen a lot online from people kind of calculating what it looks like. It is the type of game that I probably am not going to pick a battle pass up for unless I get like a bunch of friends who are like way into it. I'll try it with friends. I will probably continue to boot this game up. I want to support games like this who do start taking some player first steps, but it does feel like XDefiant is missing like 20% that would just push it over the edge, just a little bit more from the factions and weapons that would, maybe introduce somebody into wanting to try, let's say, a Ghost Recon game or Far Cry 6 or the Watch Dogs universe. And I do find myself craving this kind of arcade-style shooter regularly. And for years and years, I played Iron Sight, and I loved that game. In my mind, this feels like the next iteration of an Iron Sight-style game. I really want to see this succeed. I want to see it improve, so it'll be interesting now that it is out in the wild. What is the cadence of updates going to look like for players? And will it be the type of game that a lot of people hop on, stick with, and play for a long time? Can't hurt to try something that's new and that's free, but it absolutely feels like the game was built with the purpose of Ubisoft having a live service FPS game in their hopper so they can sell cosmetics and battle passes. It does help that you've got some good design principles behind it, but I wonder what it's going to take, this game from being that 80% like great ideas and cool design and push it into the, 110% with cool, original, unique things that draw people into it, right? As it stands now, I don't know how sticky this game will be for a lot of players. Overall, in terms of performance and how the game felt on the PC, I will say it's just not as smooth as that like modern Call of Duty feeling is, but visually, it looks really nice. I'm a sucker for these kind of games. Other than that, hit detection, the frame pacing felt really smooth. I was able to hold some good numbers, and it overall was pretty fun, sprinting, sliding, hopping around the map. There's some pretty silly abilities in this game, though, so I'm interested to see what the first balance pass is going to look like. If you're playing XDefiant, would you let me know what you think of it down below? And just, shout out if this is the style game that really resonates with you. Shout out to Epic Hunter in my Discord for recommending I try XDefiant. I want to thank you for watching the video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you again very soon.
Active camo! Gathering intel!
Enemy neutralized.